So the question is, can you recover from getting results in your trials that you're not happy with? Well, the simple answer is absolutely. It just depends on what you do in the next 6 weeks. And 6 weeks is a really long time. So I've been teaching HSC English for over 20 years, and I can't tell you how much a person can do in this 6 week period if they get clear on what they want to get and they put their mind to it and you have a structure. Okay. So the first thing to do is when you get your papers back, go through each section. The worst thing you can possibly do when you get an exam paper back is not look at it and sort of just think, oh, well, I've failed and it's all lost. No, it isn't. Get your paper out. Get the questions out, have a look, see where you actually lost the marks that you did so that you've got a really good understanding of what you need to do going forward. And you will have a really good idea because you've done all the content now, you've done your essays. It's not like you don't understand what the HSC is going to be asking you. You've now done it. You've done the trials. You know you've got 2 papers. You know what all the sections are, and you've already done it that one time. So hopefully you had done it more than that before you went in, but that could have been one of the reasons for why, and that is the main reason for why people don't do well in trials, is they just haven't done 2 papers before, and you've spread all these modules out and you do, one paper or, like do one essay at a time, as opposed to when you do your second paper and you've got like 3 sections in one go. So managing your time to be able to do 3 sections within 2 hours, 40 minutes each, is really, really challenging and something that does take a lot of practice. And because in the lead up to trials, you're still doing a lot of content, a lot of the time people don't actually practice doing it in the time limits to different questions from memory, not peeking at their notes before they actually go into the trial. So now you've done that, you know what to expect. So it's really clear. It should be really clear what you need to do between now and the HSC. So you've got that goal, and then you've just got to work backwards, figure out what you missed or what needs to be worked on, and then plan backwards so that ideally what you want to do is have yourself be ready to sit those 2 papers at least 3 weeks before the HSC, so that in that last couple of weeks before the HSC, you're just doing practice papers. It's so crucial, and you really can turn it around. I've had people that have gotten like 60s and 70s for their trials, or even less. And because they've really put the work in between trials and HSC, they've been able to bring that up to a high band 5, if not even a band 6. So anything can happen between now and then. A really good thing to also know is that the border studies never actually receive your physical marks. They won't see what you got out of 20 for any of the sections. They won't see what you got as a mark for any of your assessments. In fact, what they do look at is what's your rank, and then what's your HSC mark, and then how did your school perform. So if you are going to a school that does usually perform quite well, then that's quite lucky because you'll probably get brought up with the group, but it doesn't really matter. You've got what you've got in terms of your rank. So there's no need to even think about any of the past things that you've done. You just focus on what you can do between now and the HSC, and the border studies will only ever see your HSC mark, right? Which is good news, because that means that it doesn't matter what you did prior. All that matters is what you can do in the next 6 weeks. So you really can turn it around. And the main thing is to be clear on where you lost those marks. So if you don't know why you lost your marks, that's where you need to get some assistance from your teacher, from your tutor, from whoever it is. But if you look at it yourself, you probably can actually work out a lot of the reason for why. And I would say that 95% of the reason will be a lack of practice before you went into the trial exam, which you've got plenty of time to do now because you're not covering any new content. So that's what you need to focus on. And, don't by any stretch of the imagination think that it's too late and you can't come back and move up exponentially from where you're at from your trials.